was a biker and drove his motorcycle very fast. Drove a big chop Pilot with a gang color jacket and ran down Citizens for laughs. He had an old lady named Petula who packed an automatic 45 gun. They had just come up from California where they'd shot 6 cops for fun. Jakey thought it was the best there was, as down the interstate he saw, till the day he tangled with the county sheriff, who they all called 104. It was late on a Thursday evening, and Jake, he was feeling kinda mean, cause he'd just run out of his favorite drug, you know, the one called amphetamine. So he sauntered up to Petula, and he said, say, baby, let's split. There's a little gas station on down the road that might be fun to hit. So they drove up to the station, and they both jumped off of Jake's ride. They were up to derision at Jake's decision as they both sauntered to the inside. The attendant, he was an old man, and you know he didn't think it very funny. When Petula pulled out that great big gun and said, honey, give me all your money. Well, the old man opened up the cash drawer, and Jake grabbed the money and ran. With Petula out the door to the big chop Pilot that was parked on the center kickstand. Then they headed out for the 4-lane, and they thought it was lots of fun, with Jake on his hog with Petula the dog.
Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you the World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
This is Night Dreams Talk Radio Network News, and I'm James Creechbaum. Well, the weather, there's severe thunderstorm threat to coincide with ongoing flood risk in the south. In addition to the ongoing flooding, concerns from the deep south to the Tennessee Valley and mid-Atlantic. Severe thunderstorms may also threaten the region on Wednesday, so be careful out there. Residents across much of the lower Mississippi Valley through the southeast coast have already been on alert following damaging winds and tornadoes that swept through the area last week. Now, a storm is to hammer portions of the northern U.S. with blizzard-like conditions. Wintry precipitation could impact a 1,500-mile stretch from eastern Kansas to eastern Maine from Wednesday through Thursday, as the system soaking the south moves northward along the Ohio River Valley on Wednesday. Also, the northwest and the Washington and Oregon get a reprieve from the rain and snow today and tonight. However, there will be snow in Montana and Iowa and Nebraska and Colorado. And again, the lower south is going to be saturated with much rain and high winds and chance of thunderstorms. So be careful in the lower states. Also, an eminent Australian scientist, he says humans will be extinct in 100 years. We're going to become extinct. Whatever we do now is too late. These words belong to a professor, Frank Fenner, an eminent Australian scientist who helped wipe out the smallpox. Fenner believed that climate change was in its early stages, but feared it will ultimately lead to our own extinction. The explosion of the global population, coupled with mankind's unbridled consumption, would assume the role of centerpieces in a global domino effect that will continue long after we are gone. Well, it was 65 degrees in Antarctica just last week. Antarctica experienced its hottest day on record last Thursday. At least that's what the scientists reported at Argentina's Esperanza Research Station on a very northern tip of the Antarctic Peninsula. That would make it the hottest temperature that we have ever seen over the length of the record that we have for Antarctica. This is unfortunately a continuing trend. This station just set the existing record only just a few years ago in 2015. So we are seeing these high temperature records not only in Antarctica but across the entire world. Fall, whereas we just don't see cold temperature records anymore. Melting glaciers and thawing permafrost could release ancient viruses locked away for thousands of years. As the planet warms and the ice thaws, scientists warn we could see the reemergence of ancient pathogens currently unknown to science. These viruses, which have laid dormant and locked away in glaciers and the permafrost permanently frozen soil for hundreds, if not thousands of years, could wake up, researchers have said. Now, earlier this year, scientists analyzing 2 ice core samples from the Gallia ice cap in Tibet identified several of such viruses. One of the core samples dated back 520 years, and while the other held sediments walked away 15,000 years ago. And on top of that, 28 other viruses have never, ever been seen before. Melting ice from climate change could release the pathogens into the environment, one researcher said, calling it a worst-case scenario. Well, UFO leak of the century contained in 15-page document, a historian says. Richard Dolan, there are uncontrolled leaks that are occurring and are just very quickly mentioned something that I consider, and I called the leak, the UFO leak of the century. And this is a leak of 15 pages of notes, purportedly, and I think genuinely, by Dr. Eric Davis, formerly of the National Institute of Discovery Science, now associated with Dr. Hal Puthoff, and working with To the Stars. These are notes that he took, and I believe in 2002, after a meeting with former Admiral Thomas R. Wilson, who had been head of intelligence for the Joint Chiefs back in the 90s. And in these notes, Admiral Wilson is telling Dr. Davis about his discovery of deeply classified program to study extraterrestrial technology. And although he seemed to be legally authorized to have regulatory authority over it, he was denied access. Next news break, top of the hour.
From my compound in Gig Harbor, Washington, from the Pacific to the Atlantic, to you worldwide. I'm Gary Anderson, and you're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio. Tonight's guest is Wally Runnels. Can you say Ouija boards? Well, we can here tonight. It's going to get really interesting after 8 o'clock tonight, or actually after 7 o'clock when Wally comes on telling us his story about his Ouija board. And then at 8:05, we have Tom from Metatron Power and Light coming on. Going to be a great show here tonight, so make sure you stay tuned. Hey, James, how you doing, my friend? I think we lost James.
No, I'm here. I don't know what was going on there. It wouldn't come off. It wouldn't get to where it needed to go. But anyway, it's working now. Yeah, I'm doing good. Besides that little glitch there in the machine just a second ago.
Yeah, I thought maybe you disappeared or went somewhere, or what can I say? A big shout out to the only person that can figure out how to get on to our chat is Barb tonight. And don't forget, people, we're going to change our chat here in about a week. It'll be on our website. We're revamping the website. I made a couple temporary changes on it, but we're making major changes to the website where you can actually even play music from our, Metatron Power and Light on it. And again, when we go live, you'll be able to go chat directly on our website, and we can talk to you while we're doing the show. So it's going to make it a lot more interesting. So how was your day today, James?
Oh, not bad. It was 45, 48 degrees, a little rainy, but you know what? It wasn't snowing, so it was good.
Well, that's good. Any of that snow still sticking around?
Oh, no. We got a couple inches one day, and it's done melted, the next day since the sun comes up.
Wow. Well, a guy in Wisconsin made a custom home. He liked Indiana Jones movies so much that he built his house inside to look like a temple of Indiana Jones. He has a huge collection also. Can you believe somebody be so wrapped up into a movie where they have a house custom built like that?
That would be mind-boggling, especially if you came home drunk one day and woke up and be like, well, where am I at? And this dream won't go away.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I know. Can you imagine, though, once you do all that, you're not going to change it very easily. You know that. So you're pretty much stuck with it the whole time you live there. The problem is when you maybe want to go to sell the house, and then maybe not, somebody else might not want it to be Indiana Jones. They might want it to be Star Trek. Who knows?
That's true. I often thought of making if I had a house that had a big room and I was going to make it look like Fenway Park inside the one big room with the green monster. That would be unique. But again, I'd have to find a Red Sox fan if I did that, wouldn't I?
Oh, yeah. Well, the world's largest fireworks detonated over Colorado.
Oh, that I haven't heard much on them drones. I wonder if it was drone dropped.
No, they put on a display, and it's they claim the world's largest.
Wow. I'll tell you, there's another record. Every week you're finding these records that are being broke. I give you credit for that.
Well, the police rescue a horse that was wrapped in barbed wire.
That is terrible. It sounds like the horse made an escape and got caught up with some wire. I tell you, barbed wire is no joke. I went skiing one time, went right through a barbed wire fence.
That don't feel good, you know that. I actually didn't go over a barb. Well, it did have some barbs on the top, but when I was a young kid, my brother was 13 years older than me, and one of our relatives had a farm. And to get over to ride it was not a horse. They had no horses, but they had cows. And he said, "Hey, brother, do you want to ride a cow?" Well, I was like 6 or 7 years old. I wasn't smart enough to say no or yes. He said, "Well, you got to climb over the fence." And I said, "No, that electric fence, it's electric fence. I'll get hurt." He goes, "No, I'll shut the power off." See? And he turned the power off. And he waited till I got almost over it, and then he turned it on.
Oh, that's rotten. I got to tell you, gee.
Well, that wasn't all of it. Then, after I got done shaking, off the ground, about 10 minutes later, I kind of came back to my senses. Because when you're a small kid like that, it really takes a lot out of you. He then puts me on top of a cow. Now, you would think these cows wouldn't do anything, but I never, as a little kid, I remember this cow bucking and running like you wouldn't believe to get me off of it. Bad experience. Bad experience. Don't ever ride a cow when you're a young kid, or anybody, I don't think.
Give me little cows. That's funny you say that, because my buddy had a big dairy farm. We'd go over there just hang out and drink a few beers, and then we'd get they had a whole corral in the barn. We'd have our own little rodeo. We'd get on them little cows, and I'm going to tell you something. Once you get on them, it's like getting on the back of a Tasmanian devil, man. They just go crazy.
I know. I didn't stay on it very long. On top of it, I should have realized that, but he built a nice tree house. I mean, on this farm, there was a big bunch of acreage of trees. And this is on Woodby Island up here in Washington State. So we go up this tree, and it's kind of a ways up. And, he goes, wait a minute. I'll go down and get us some food. So he takes the ladder away. And he leaves me up on the tree. Hours it seemed to went by, because it was, daylight when I was up on that tree. But then all of a sudden it was dark. And I remember my dad and my brother and my grandfather calling my name. And then I finally, "Hey, it's me. And they rescued me. And I'll tell you what, the good satisfaction I had, my brother couldn't sit down for at least a couple of days after that. Because I tell you, I don't remember which one, my grandfather or my father or both of them, let him have it.
Maybe they both took turns on that one. They left you up in the tree. He got you good, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Do you know how scary it is when you're a little kid, 6 or 8 years old, and you're out in